Morning, Enid. It is Thursday, February 16th, just in case you're keeping track of all the tax days. We have till, what, is it April 15th?
Actually, this year you get 3 extra days.
Oh,
the
great.
deadline is April 18th because the 15th is on a weekend, and then there's a holiday in the District of Columbia, so they've extended it
Wow.
to April 18th.
I'm glad I asked that. Wow, very good. Well, our good friend from the accounting department of City of Enid is Annette Radomski. Annette, thank you for joining us again. I think this is your third appearance with us, and we always appreciate Annette because she's a wealth of information when it comes to just the work we do at the City of Enid, but also if you have a tax question. And for folks who want tax refunds, they're usually counting the minute, Annette, and saying, boy, when's this thing going to arrive? Is there any truth to the rumor, or you know, the refunds, are they being delayed this year?
Some of the refunds.
What have you heard?
Some of the refunds were delayed. If you had earned income tax credit or additional child tax credit, those returns would not be processed by the IRS until yesterday. So from now on, everything's on schedule. The holdback, and they were held up because of the Protecting Americans from Tax Hikes Act, trying to decrease the amount of fraud in tax returns.
So it sounds like regulation gets in the way again, maybe?
Yes.
Okay.
Trying to protect everybody from having their identity stolen and fraud.
Sure. Well, thanks for joining us at the roundtable this morning.
Now, Annette, what is Form 1095 ABC? What do you do if you receive that form? What can you tell us about that?
Those are 3 distinct forms, and which one you get depends on who provides your health insurance coverage. It's basically what you're going to get that denotes whether or not you've got health care coverage for the year or you weren't covered. Okay. The 1095A is the one that you get if you bought it from the marketplace, and you will already have that. The other ones you'll get at a later date probably, and you'll just put those with your file, and those just are your proof that you had health insurance.
Okay, thank you.
Annette, let's talk a little bit about the dependents that we have. You know, if my child graduates, I guess maybe from college in May this year, am I able to claim him or her as a dependent on my tax return?
If they're under 24 and they've been a student for 5 months and you've supported them, yes, you can still claim them on your return this year. Once they're out of school for a full year, then no, you don't get to claim them. But their senior year, they are still eligible to be claimed on the parent's return if certain other tests are met.
Okay, very good.
Okay. Now, how about people that got married on December 30th, or for that matter, divorced, or maybe their spouse passed away during the past year? How do you file? Do you file single, or how do you do that?
Your filing status is determined based on your marital status on December 31st. Oh. So if you get married on New Year's Eve, say you have a New Year's Eve wedding, you're considered married by the IRS for the whole year. Likewise, if your divorce goes through at the end of the year, you're divorced for the whole year, and you'll file as such. Now, there's some other issues if your spouse passes away. If you've got children in the home, there's other scenarios and options for you. But if it's just you and your spouse, you would still file a joint return as if that spouse was alive for the whole year.
Okay.
And then what if I get a phone call or an email from the IRS and say, Steve, you owe back taxes?
That is a scam.
When you pick yourself up off the floor. So that's a scam then. Okay.
That is a scam. The IRS will not contact you by phone or email. Their first contact with you will always be through snail mail. Once you reply to that and give them a phone number or an email address and tell them that's how you want to be contacted, then they could be legitimate. But if your first contact is by phone or email, disregard it. It is a scam. They're just trying to take your money.
Interesting. Let me jump in here real quick, Jamora. We're bombarded, it seems like, with these fake emails from, you know, flowers are being delivered or taxes or something. So I didn't realize it may look like an official IRS email document or something, but we need to stay away from that.
Right, because if you stop and think about it, when you file your tax return, you don't put your phone number on there. You don't put your email address on there. So how would the legitimate IRS have that information on you?
That's a good point.
They're not going to have that to connect you to that email. So please do not fall victim to that scam.
Right. You've mentioned before, Annette, we've discussed this previously that if you receive the snail mail and they ask for your email or your phone, after that moment, then you may receive that.
That
but
is
not
if that
prior
is
to.
your method of choice to be
Okay.
contacted.
Okay.
You have the right to request that all further contact be through snail mail.
Okay.
You don't have to give them your email.
Well, thank you,
That's
Annette.
good to know.
Mm-hmm. Now, on taxable items, is my workers' compensation payment taxable?
Workers' compensation is not taxable, and the confusion becomes unemployment is taxable.
Okay, that was my next question.
Yeah.
But thank you.
But unemployment is taxable, but workers' compensation payments are not taxable.
Okay.
So,
Thanks for the clarification.
Well, let's stay on the subject of refunds. Everybody's interested in refunds. So how do I know when I'm going to receive my refund? Say everything is already mailed off and you're sitting there and the clock is running. How does a person, is there any formula, Annette, to say, okay, in 2 weeks, 12 weeks?
most refunds will be paid out in 3 weeks or less, but to check on the status, if you go to the website irs.gov, off on the right-hand side of the screen, there's a little button that says, "Where's my refund?" You just click on it and enter the information that it asks for, and it will show you where your return is in the process, if it's being processed, if it's been approved, if it's been issued.
Okay.
That being said, they only update it once a day, so you're not going to hurry it up if you check it 5 or 6 times a day. Likewise, you can go to Oklahoma Tax Commission, and they have a place where you can check the status of your refund as well.
So if you go to that website and you click on where's my return and there's this big glowing red light going off, then you probably should just move on and
Right.
check another day. Okay. All
But-
right.
Now, Annette, what happens if I receive a tax form or after I file my tax, I find that there's an error? What do I do?
What you'll do is you'll file an amended return on a Form 1040X, and I do recommend filing it as timely as you can. However, if you file your tax return today and you get your another 1099 tomorrow, you need to wait until you get your first refund before you do the amended, because if they get 2 returns at the same time, that's going to kind of put you on the very back burner. But as soon as you get your first refund or balance due, then file the amended, correct it, submit everything, and it's good to go. And you do have 3 years from the date the return was filed or due to do the amended return and claim any additional refunds or pay any additional taxes.
And then we're going to have to hurry. We're running out of time. I know we could spend, an hour visiting with
Yeah.
you. Let's say I bought this vacation home or a motor home or something like that. Can I deduct the interest?
You can.
that.
The IRS allows you to deduct the interest and taxes on up to 2 residences. And on a vacation home, you need to it needs to be fully self-contained in the event of a travel trailer or a motorhome, and you need to spend 14 nights a year in there. So if you meet those conditions, you can take the interest and the taxes of those off the same as you do your primary residence.
Jamara, let's go with our very last question as we finish this up this morning. if you
Okay.
would, please.
So, Annette, what do the codes in box 12 of my W-2 mean?
Box 12.
Box 12.
That gives you a wealth of information, and I'm going to touch on the two main ones that you see. And it's a D, which tells you how much money you've put into your deferred compensation plan for the year. And then the code double D tells you what your employer paid for your health insurance for the year.
Oh.
The definition for the rest of the codes are usually on the back of your W-2, so you can see what that code actually means.
Okay.
And there's the definitions for all of those.
Well, thank you, Annette.
Very good. You
lot
are
of
a wealth of
information.
information. You
Yes.
always are. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining us here at the Roundtable this morning.